Welcome to reading lesson number 5 on labelling a diagram. Before you start this lesson, you will need to have the following to hand: your training booklet, a pen or pencil, a rubber, and a timer which you should have ready and set for 5 minutes for the practice. You can follow the lesson in your training booklet where you will find all the reading practice exercises, space to enter your answers, and at the back of your training booklet you will find your answers. After this lesson, you will have a clear overview of what to expect in the question type labelling diagrams, have learnt tips and strategies on how best to approach the section, and have a chance to practice the question type using real IELTS materials. There are 2 practice tasks in this lesson. The first practice is more guided, and the second you do alone. The question type here is labelling a diagram or a flowchart, so you have to answer with words and or numbers from a passage as in practice 1 or from a box with words given as in practice 2. All the answers are in order, and first of all you have to find the part of the passage the diagram refers to. You start with the question, you scan for words from the questions, then you label the diagram with the words and or numbers from the passage in the first example or from the box in practice 2. Be careful to stay within the word limit. Now we're going to look at 7 tips and strategies which will help you in the reading part. These are the same tips and strategies as in lessons 1 to 4. Firstly, you need to read the headline. Then, depending on the question type, you need to decide if the questions are in order or not. In this case, they are again in order. Then you should decide if you need to scan or skim. And here you have to scan. And then you can start to find the answers. As the questions are in order, you start with question 1. Once you've found the answer, you can underline it. Then you should write your answers which are from the passage next to the question numbers or from the box, which you should also write next to the question numbers. Repeat this process for all the questions in the set. And lastly, you can transfer your answers after the section to the reading answer sheet. Now you have time to practice with some help. First, let's look at the headline on Lesson 5, Practice 1 in your training booklet. The first thing you need to do is to read the headline. What do you think the article is about? The article is about research a man called John McCrone has done on humour. What makes people laugh? Now you need to decide if the questions are in order or not, and in this case they are in order. And as the questions are in order, you can start reading from the beginning of the passage and with the first question. You will need to scan for the answers in this question type as the questions or things you need to label are specific. You have to label parts of the brain in the first practice. Now you can start to find the answers. As the questions are in order, you start by reading one question, then find the answer and go to the next question. First, find the part of the passage the diagram refers to. As it's about brains, you need to look for something to do with looking at brains. Now let's have a look at question 21 and predict what kind of answer you need. You should be scanning for something like cortex or prefrontal. Now you can start looking for the answer from the part of the passage the questions refer to, and once you've found it, you can underline the answer. And now you can write the answer in the gap on question 21. Don't forget, this kind of question or task requires you to use words from the passage, not your own words. Now repeat this process for the other questions in the set 21 to 23. You will need to use your timer, which is set for 5 minutes. When you're ready, start the timer and press pause on this video, which you can start again when you've finished. If you don't need the full time, just press play and go to the next slide. For this practice, you're going to transfer the answers to the space in your training booklet. In the real test, you would transfer your answers after the whole passage in pencil to an answer sheet. You have to check your spelling. All you need to do here is to make sure that you've copied the words correctly in both kinds of this task. Remember to check the word limit. In this case, it's no more than 3 words. And remember to transfer quickly and carefully. You now have 40 seconds to transfer your answers to the space in your training booklet. I will tell you when the time is up. You can start now. Your time is up now. Now you have time to look at the answers and at where they are in the passage, which you can read in the back of your training booklet and on this slide. If you need more time, just press pause. Don't forget that these are all the possible answers, and answers in brackets are optional. Now you have a chance to practice labelling a diagram task alone, and after we'll go through the answers together. Go to Lesson 5, Practice 2 in your training booklet. Don't forget to follow the steps which you can find in your training booklet. You will need to use your timer now. It should be set for 5 minutes. Are you ready? You can start your timer now and then press pause on this video and start it again when you've finished. Again, if you don't need all the time, just press play and go to the next slide. You now have 40 seconds to transfer your answers to the space in your training booklet. I'll tell you when the time is up. You can start now. Your time is up. Now you have time to look at the answers and where they are in the passage, which you can read in the back of your training booklet and on this slide. If you need more time, just press pause. Don't forget that these are all the possible answers, and answers in brackets are optional. That is the end of Lesson 5, and now after a short quiz you can go on to Lesson 6, which is on completing a summary.